Hello and good morning, and thank you for joining me this morning for this iPresent Introduction to Salesforce Integration webinar. Okay, my name is Josh Dhaliwal, and I'm one of the account management team at iPresent, and I'm based at the company's head office in the UK. Right, now just before I kind of get started with the webinar, just a couple of quick things I wanted to point out. One is that you'll see my contact details on the screen in front of you in the bottom right hand corner. So if you have any questions about the content of this webinar, or you'd like to receive a copy of the iPresent Salesforce integration tutorial document, okay, then please feel free to drop me across an email. Or if you've got any questions around iPresent in general, I can kind of deal with those as well. Now, I won't be able to take any live calls or live questions during this particular webinar, just because we've got so many different people dialing in from lots of different companies, and so I'd rather kind of take those questions offline. So you've got my contact details on the screen in front of me. Now I can either kind of address those questions directly, or I can kind of refer you to your local account management. Okay. Right. Now, I guess kind of what I want to cover off first is, I guess, kind of why is there a requirement for iPresent and Salesforce to integrate? Okay. Now, I should also kind of quickly point out, actually, before I get started, that we do also now enable you to synchronize iPresent with other CRM systems, because I know that over the past few days that I've been doing these webinars, it's often come up with when will we be able to integrate with other platforms such as Microsoft Dynamics and SAP, etc. That integration work has already begun. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about that in just a few seconds. But really, I guess why have clients been asking us to integrate iPresent with Salesforce? Well, I guess essentially what iPresent does is iPresent basically tracks everything that the salesperson shows through iPresent during the course of a meeting. Okay. And we also understand that a common pain point for a lot of our customers has been, well, how do we ensure that the salespeople out in the field, when they've been to a meeting with a client, is that they update the CRM system? Okay, so that's obviously a pain point for a lot of our customers. And I guess something that maybe doesn't get appreciated very often is the obvious pain point for our clients' salespeople, which is if you're on the road and you're out and about and you're having back-to-back meetings during the course of a day or several days, then how are you finding the time to I guess in between those meetings to update the CRM system with what you've shown a particular client or what you've discussed? Okay, and so I guess recognizing both of those things is what's been really being the driving factor behind the Salesforce integration. Now, for those of you who are obviously using iPresent already, you'll understand that in the metrics and analytics section of iPresent, we basically already track everything that's happening during the course of that meeting. Okay, so anybody who's an administrator looking at that data can see, who the salesperson is, what content they're showing, what order that content is being shown in, how long it's being shown for, and also down to a micro level, how long that salesperson is spending on showing a particular resource or document, so right down to how many seconds or minutes they're spending on a particular page of a document. Now, why that information has been important to our clients is, first and foremost, you get to, I guess, for some of our clients, this is the first visibility they get of what happens during that meeting, okay, or any meeting that a salesperson has with a client or prospect. And we've obviously got quite a few clients now in the pharmaceutical and financial services sectors. So there's now some visibility over whether those meetings are actually compliant. Okay, so whether that be legally or ethically, etc. So the clients are able to now see, did the salesperson spend the appropriate amount of time on the terms and conditions or all of the supporting material they are legally required to show a client. Okay, so that's really kind of the second thing. So what happens in the meeting, is the meeting compliant? And really kind of the third part of that is then being able to see that information on, not just on iPresent, but also on your CRM system. Okay, and this is where we launched iPresent sessions. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of give you a quick glimpse of the sessions information as it historically looked in iPresent. So I'm going to open up a browser window here, and I'm already logged into my iPresent demo account here. And if I go into this section here, which is called My Sessions, and My Sessions is the stuff that any device user can see. If I go into My Sessions, you can see here that I've had how many sessions I've had. So I've had 13 sessions during the course of this month. When did those sessions happen? And again, you can see if I drill down on any one of these, what content was shown or which kind of content sets. Okay, and you can also see that each one of these is an untitled session. Okay, so at that point, there's been no tracking in terms of who I've been showing that content to. And that's really kind of been the missing link, because iPresent basically tracks everything by the individual salesperson, but we don't know who they're presenting to. And this is really kind of where we launched iPresent sessions. Okay, and now especially those of you who are on the enterprise version of iPresent, you may already kind of be familiar with iPresent sessions. But I'm going to switch view from here, from my my browser to my iPad. So if I switch into here, and I'm going to go into this content set here for a fictional company called ABQ Financing. And from the side menu bar here, halfway down, we've got the sessions feature. And if I tap on that, what we basically do is we kind of have a HTML form that pops up at the beginning of the meeting, which the salesperson can fill in preparation for that meeting. Okay, now this is just a dummy form for demo purposes, but your actual form will look up the information that the salesperson is putting in and cross-reference it with your CRM system. So here, for example, I could start typing in the name of the client or the client's email address or their organization, and it will then automatically populate the form based on what I'm inputting. So if I'm starting to input the client's email address, it will then automatically populate the rest of the form with whatever details already exist on your CRM system. Now, the other things that it will do is that if, for example, that lead is not being recognized as something that already exists in your CRM system, it will then basically create a new lead at that point. I've also got, and these forms are fully customizable. So this is just something that's been put together by our HTML guys. They can, we can basically use your forms, but obviously the missing part is then kind of linking this with the fields in your CRM system. Okay. And I've also got clients who now use a different form at the end of the meeting, because obviously when you start the meeting, you would populate this form and then you'd kind of click on the bottom left-hand link, which is to start a new session. And then obviously you go to end the session, and then you can have kind of some drop-down box saying kind of meeting objectives achieved or follow-up actions required, etc. And obviously it will populate that information onto the client's CRM record too. Now, I'm going to switch back out of this into my desktop here, and obviously just want to quickly show you where you as the administrators get to see the sessions information. So under analytics section, and if you do more charts and details, there's obviously the first one is here on mine, which is iPresent sessions per day, the last 14 days, and obviously you can change the time span that's measured over. And if I scroll down here, you can obviously you've got the more kind of detailed reports under the drop down box here too. Okay, so that's obviously kind of a key part of this. Now, what I want to also kind of quickly show you is what this information looks like on Salesforce. Okay, and the reason kind of we've kind of done the integration first and foremost with Salesforce because it is the most commonly used, it's the single most commonly used CRM system amongst our clients. But if you do want to discuss integration with some of the other platforms, then please feel free to give me a call. And what I'm also happy to do is to then kind of talk through, I guess, kind of the next steps with those people interested if you drop me an email. And I will be sharing my contact details with you at the end of this call. And actually, while I'm on that subject, for those of you who are late joining this call or you've had to leave early, I will also be sending out a link to the video recording at the end of this call. So in case you want to share the content of this video with some of your colleagues or you want to go through it in your own time, I will be sending it out to everyone. Okay. Now, what I've done here is I've logged into a demo Salesforce account here. And if I scroll down to the bottom, it tells you obviously who the account manager here is. That's Neil Bostrom. This is whose account it is. He's our technical director at iPresent. And if I go to the bottom here, we've got a new section that's been added, which is called iPresent Resource Views. And all of this information here has been kind of automatically populated. So it's basically showing me here what content's been shown, obviously what order it's been shown in, and how long I've spent in each resource. And it's also tracking the final column here, what content has been shared with the client during the meeting as well. Okay, and obviously you can kind of track different things, obviously according to what your requirements are. It just obviously requires our technical department to have a conversation with people involved on your side in terms of kind of your CRM system. Okay, so that's just a really kind of a quick overview of what that information then looks like in Salesforce. So anybody going into Salesforce can see, how many meetings have we had with this client, who's hosted those meetings, what content, as I mentioned, was shown, what order it was shown in, and how long you've spent in particular resources. So you've really kind of got that kind of a picture of what's happened during that meeting. So again, if you've got a follow-up meeting, you can see what content was shown during the previous meeting, what content was shared, etc. And obviously you can assign some follow-up actions in iPresent as well. Okay, so I think that's kind of really everything that I wanted to cover off in this kind of introduction section. As I mentioned, I will be sending out a link to the video recording to everybody. There is a Salesforce integration tutorial document also available, which I'm more than happy to share with people. And I've just posted up shared my contact details again with you. So thank you very much for joining me for this introduction webinar this morning. And I look forward to any questions that anybody has. Thank you for watching.